the Steiner MPS, a pistol-mounted optic that can certainly be used in other applications besides pistol, but I think it was predominantly designed for pistol. Excellent optic, specs at a glance, which I'll provide across. I like this a lot. I've had a much longer test with it than I anticipated, so I will talk more about that in just a second. Hi all. By the time you are seeing this, I will have shot through a Steiner MPS somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,400 rounds. That is broken between two different optics, and I'll explain why in just a second, or you may already be familiar with those circumstances, but we'll get to it. One of my colleagues, Vice Grip, has put somewhere around 1,500 rounds through a gun with the Steiner on it as well. So at this point, while I don't think I can comment on what this optic does 2, 3, 4 years down the road, I can certainly comment on what it does after a reasonable number of rounds. As I was saying before, it is a pistol-mounted optic, or its market was intended to be pistol-mounted. You could put it on a firearm, I'm sure. It is a top-mounted emitter, very low window, very nice profile, very durable. I haven't dropped it, haven't done anything silly with it. The instructions claim an acro footprint. I will say that based on what I've read, it is acro-ish. It does fit on the CHPWS acro plate, which is what it is written on for the entire time it has been on this gun. It's got 8 brightness settings, but I will warn you that if you defeat the 13-hour shutoff, which is maybe something you want, maybe you don't, then you only have 7 brightness settings, because as soon as you take the 13-hour shutoff out of the equation, then the top setting also disappears, I think in an effort to save battery life. This particular optic, the battery's been in here for over a month. It still runs, there's no issues. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you know that my first optic suffered a failure, sort of, after 1,400 rounds. Some part had come loose on the inside and was rattling around, and it was doing a number on the glass. The dot was still there, it was still held 0, but having something flying around inside your optic is not confidence inspiring, to say the least. Quick trip back to Steiner, brand new optic showed up, and I was back in the fight. The new one has since more than eclipsed that number of rounds, and from what I'm seeing, failures are rare. Any optic is subject to failure, so be aware of that. Adjustments on the height and windage are very tactile. You can hear them and you can feel them, which I like quite a bit. Some of the other pistol-mounted optics don't seem to have that, but the presentation through the glass is very easy to see and super low. I would actually be very cautious with getting sights that are too high if you're trying to have iron sights as backups. I don't want to say co-witness, because co-witness is silly for pistol-mounted optics. Take that term and throw it away. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. But the continuous precision sights work very well, and I've been super happy with those. The previous ones that I had on the gun were some Overwatch Precision MOS sights. Be aware that those MOS sights are really tall, like almost 0.4 inches tall. The continuous precisions are closer to 0.3 inches tall. So if I was going to buy some sights for this optic, I would definitely go with the continuous precisions. So I'll roll in a picture of both of those so you can see the sight picture difference. I've shot this optic in classes, on drills, doing demos, and it has held up really well. But even at setting 7 of 8, it is as bright as any of the other optics I've played with. The only optic out there that I've played with that has a brighter top setting is actually the Acro P2. So if you want ultimate brightness, probably the Acro P2 is what you want to get. The Acro P2 also $150 more than this optic. The claimed 13,000 hour lifespan of battery, I have no idea. That's probably on a mid setting, but like I said, if I can get 3 months out of a battery on a pistol optic, I'm actually pretty happy, because I run mine at super bright almost all the time. It's run at either the top or next to the top the entire time. As I mentioned before, this has been sitting on a CHPWS acro plate, and it has not come loose, nothing shifted. It has been perfectly fine. I know that CHPWS has a Steiner MPS specific plate, but it is not out yet. You can pre-order it, and I think it's supposed to ship at the end of June. So if you want to mount one now, the CHPWS acro plate seems to work just fine. Rumor has it that the Ford Controls acro plate does not fit the Steiner. So when they say acro footprint, I say acro-ish. So maybe the mounting solution you're using works, maybe it does not. So buyer beware, but I can state with confidence that the CH Products plate does work quite well with this optic. Overall, I'm super pleased with it. I think that it is easily the biggest window out on the market while still fitting in all of the holsters that I expect it to fit in, including 2 different Safari lands with no issues whatsoever. So if you are looking for a pistol mounted optic that is enclosed, which I like quite a bit, fits a footprint that is already on the market and does things for you, this is probably where you want to go. The updated instructions that came with this, not the previous gen, but the newest gen instructions, super thorough, super helpful to include torque spec for the mounting, as well as how to defeat the 13-hour shutoff. Side note, if you need to defeat that, you can hold the buttons down for approximately 10 seconds. Felt like a lot longer. The dot will start flashing, and that'll tell you that you've turned it off. You can also turn off the up and down buttons or lock them out, but these buttons are recessed and kind of difficult to press, so I haven't bothered with using the lockout on these because I've never inadvertently adjusted the brightness when I was racking the gun, even grabbing it like this, any of the ways we normally rack the gun. It never changed that. You've really got to press these buttons, and you can hear and feel the adjustments when you press them. Overall, guys, I'm super impressed with this optic. I would buy it again. The warranty service that I had to use with Steiner was fast, and there were no excuses. They were super responsive, answered my call immediately, got me a shipping label immediately, took care of me. So overall, guys, I'm super happy with this. I'll roll in some footage here and there of me shooting with this optic, but trust me, I'm really, really serious when I say I put every bit of 2,000 plus rounds downrange with this optic. For some of you, that might be a good week's worth of shooting. For some of you, that might be a year's worth of shooting. I don't know. So gauge what I did with this gun accordingly based on your needs and wants. That's pretty much it. I hope this has been helpful to you guys. I didn't want it to run too long, but just in general, I want to let you know that I'm super happy with this optic. If this has been helpful to you at all, or if you've been following the saga of the Steiner MPS, I'll probably put a card up somewhere with the playlist for all the other Steiner vids, because I did a few, and this is, like I said, my second attempt at this video because having to engage in warranty service kind of put a hiatus on that first one. But overall, super happy. If it's been helpful, like, subscribe, share with your friends, all the YouTube blah blah blah. Really appreciate it, guys. Train hard, stay safe.
Gus, come here. Come here.